The MSI Stealth GS65, catchy name, was released this month, and the first thing you'll notice compared to many other gaming laptops is how thin this one is. Obviously, portability is key in laptops. Not that ones built for gaming weren't portable, but the size and weight of them made them cumbersome at best. The GS65 mitigates this problem without sacrificing performance, and in addition to that slim build is a tiny bezel around the screen. So whilst you won't be getting the screen size of a separate monitor, the maximised screen space certainly helps. Plus, it is a 144Hz display at that. But a 144Hz display only gets you so far without the hardware to back it up. Fortunately, the GS65 features 16GB of RAM, an i7-8750H at 3.9 GHz, and a GTX 1060. It's a solid build, certainly, and more powerful than the desktop PC I'm editing this video on, so there we are. The only drawback though is the storage space. It uses an SSD, which is great, but that SSD is only 512GB. Now I can only speak from my own experience, but the PC I'm using has 2.5TB of storage split over 3 drives, and they are all around 2/3 full. 512GB is nowhere near enough as far as I'm concerned. Especially when you consider that as this thing is portable, its appeal will be gaming on the go and for work projects, and I just don't see how this can accommodate that. Still, if you're in the market for a gaming laptop and only play a select few games and have no other projects, then sure, the MSI Stealth GS65 is a great option. Now over on the opposite side of laptops we have Chromebooks, Google's own laptop and sometimes tablet hybrid running on Google's own operating system. The Samsung manufactured Chromebook Plus has just been updated with a new model, the imaginatively titled Chromebook Plus V2. Now there are benefits and problems with this new model. For one, it's larger, meaning a bigger display, and the keys are now spaced out better, feeling less cramped and making typing easier, which is great stuff. But with that extra size comes extra weight. Not much extra weight, mind, but one of the key characteristics of the Chromebook is just how gosh darn light it is. And okay, whilst the V2 isn't exactly heavy, the extra weight is noticeable to a point where you have to use 2 hands to lift the screen. Now I know that sounds so trivial. Oh, heaven forfend, I must use both my hands to open my luxurious electronic device. But then these things are efficiency machines to the core, meaning that anything remotely awkward to use kind of undermines its design, if you see where I'm coming from here. Still, I'd argue the Chromebook line is the laptop to go for if your time is spent just writing, conversing and browsing, because they are still unmatched for that, and the V2 is no exception. And finally, Logitech has released the Craft keyboard. Now, this thing caught my eye because of the main feature, a rotatable dial in the top left corner, or the crown as it's officially called. So what does it do, exactly? Well, a lot of things. Essentially, it's designed for things such as photo and video editing, as a couple of examples, and the crown can be attributed to a number of things to make that process easier. If you're familiar with video editing, for example, you can select the rotations of the crown to scroll through or resize the assembly timeline. Now, just as I did, your first thought might be that there are already keyboard shortcuts to do just that, and you are right, but the dial offers a level of precision you wouldn't get otherwise, and it is more efficient than having to press multiple keys to achieve the same thing. It is a luxury, admittedly, but a useful one. The Craft keyboard is something that will only appeal to a few people whose work requires this sort of thing, but it's certainly a useful feature and one I personally would like to see more integration of. So if you are someone who spends each day on Premiere Pro or Photoshop or other similar programs, you might find the Craft keyboard more useful than you'd initially think. CeX.